this is Terry Swoop, and this is Real Talk. I wanted to talk about the difference between being pro-black and anti-black. Now, I don't consider myself pro-black, but I also don't consider myself as being anti-black either. I think a lot of today's pro-black militants have the wrong message, because a lot of pro-black militants don't want to talk about self-responsibility. They just want to sit back and blame everything on the white man. But I also have a problem with the anti-blacks. A lot of the anti-blacks just blame everything on black people, and they do nothing but suck up to whites. The perfect example of an anti-black person is somebody like Jesse Lee Peterson. Now, Jesse Lee Peterson has called black people the scum of the earth. He's called black people plantation slaves. And he's talked about how he supports a lot of these white supremacists. Tommy Sotomayor has also said a lot of ridiculous things about black people. He called dark-skinned women trash. He said dark-skinned women are the scum of the earth. Dark-skinned women are like crabs in a barrel. Like I said, I don't agree with the anti-blacks, but at the same time, I also don't agree with the pro-blacks. Because the pro-black message in today's society, they don't want to talk about the problems in our own community. They don't want to talk about the predators in our own community. And I think that's dangerous. Because if you look at the murder rate, most black people are killed by black people. These gangs in Chicago are terrorizing the black community. And I think you have to call out the predators in our own community in order to improve our own community. But a lot of black militants, they want to completely ignore this. Like Umar Johnson or Tariq Nasheed, they want to completely ignore the predators in our own community. And like I said, at the same time, a lot of the anti-blacks just want to blame everything on black people. So both points of view are extremist points of view. And I don't think either point of view is right, because blaming everything on black people and saying black people are to blame for everything is not right either. But it's also not right to come out and say the white man is to blame for everything. I think we need to be aware that racism still exists in America, that oppression still exists in America, but at the same time, as black people, we need to be accountable for our own actions. We shouldn't just sit back and blame everything on the white man. This is why I think the pro-blacks are wrong and a lot of the anti-blacks are wrong. I've always been a moderate person. I've always been a center moderate person. In the center moderate point of view is a common sense point of view. When I look at politics in today's society, there's extremists on both sides. You have extremist liberals on the left, and you have extremist conservatives on the right. Jesse Lee Peterson is an extremist conservative. Allen West is an extremist conservative. And a lot of the extremist black conservatives, they're considered as being anti-black. And then on the left, you have extremist liberals. Eric Dyson is an extremist liberal. Tariq Nasheed is an extremist liberal. And like I said, I think both sides are wrong on most of the issues concerning the black community, because both sides have an extremist point of view. I just think as black people, we need to be aware of the oppression in white supremacy in today's society. But at the same time, we shouldn't sit back and blame everything on the white man. That's why I think both sides are wrong. I think both sides need to look at the center point of view, look at the moderate point of view, instead of looking at this right versus left, Democrat versus Republican point of view. Because in my personal opinion, both parties are full of shit. Neither Democrat or Republican has the best interest for black people. Both parties only care about making money. Both parties, the politicians in both parties, don't give a damn about the black community. Both parties support the prison system that sends millions of black people to prison for nonviolent drug charges. And I think that's probably one of the biggest oppressive issues in the black community. But at the same time, as black people, we need to be accountable for our own actions. When I see a lot of these women having baby after baby out of wedlock, when you have men like Jay Williams that's going around impregnating 34 women and not being a father to your child, this is also destroying the black community. That's why I think both black men and black women need to take self-accountability. We need to stop playing the blame game. That's why I don't think it's right to blame everything on black women, but I also don't think it's right to blame everything on black men. Both black men and black women need to be accountable for our own actions. When I look at a lot of these black men on YouTube who do nothing but blame everything on black women, I just think that's completely ignorant. But it's also ignorant to blame everything on black men. And people need to wake up and stop playing the blame game. Yes, we need to be aware of white supremacy. We need to be aware of racism in today's society. But the white man is not destroying. The white man is not the number one problem in the black community. The number one problem in the black community is us. We're our worst enemies. I remember Chris Rock was doing a stand-up show and he was talking about how black people's worst enemy is black people. Our worst enemy is us. 95% of black people are killed by other black people. That's why as black people, we are the most divided people in the country. You don't see this type of divide with whites. You don't see this type of divide with Hispanics. You don't see this type of divide with Asians. We are the only race of people that's this divided. We don't respect each other. We hate each other. Until we solve the conflict between black men and black women, this chaos is going to continue.